Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Hope you enjoyed last week's interview with a true filmmaker. He does it all. David Cordelia. He did some visual effects work on this week's sequel, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Really amazing stories to hear. Not even, obviously, the computer graphic part of it. My buddy works in doing some of that editing. So I know how that works, but the thing that was truly fascinating was how you show your work in front of your peers to the director, and they basically give you a yay or nay, like in the Roman Empire times. Pretty neat, really cool stuff. Talking to him, real funny dude. If you haven't heard that, we'll go back and check it out. Hear about how him and his twin grew up loving film. Their dad worked for HP. He'd bring home all the old equipment. They'd be making movies. He's the director. His brother's the cinematographer, but they wear many hats behind the scenes. So, this week's sequel, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Before I talk about how I really yearn for older and less graphic movies, I got to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
Doing awesome, Doug. How are you doing?
Pretty good. This movie, I out of the ones that we watched in 2025 thus far, this movie I was able to finish the fastest, but it was not my favorite so far this year by far.
This just shows you how different we are, because by far this is the best movie we've watched this year. I mean, by a landslide. I mean, we've had so many clunkers this year. I think we've had more clunkers in a row in just 3 months than we've had, all year, like last year. So to me, first of all, the movie is pretty awesome. I mean, I didn't expect it to be 2 hours when, over 2 hours. So it was a long movie, but this franchise, it's just so awesome. I mean, a great movie, I think, but it just also shows you he's a lunatic. He's obviously, we'll talk about what he does in this movie, and obviously that's what he does now in all these movies. Like, how does he top it? What he does is insane because it's real. Like, he really does that big stunt in every movie in this franchise.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it's not that I didn't like this movie. Visually, it was great. There was just so many. There were some awesome action sequences. Yeah, him leaving the prison was amazing, which we'll get into all of them. But I just did not. I think I was expecting more. Like, my favorite part of the whole movie, I love Simon Pegg. His comic relief in the movie was probably your least favorite part.
No. No. Yeah, I like Simon Pegg, and I think he's funny.
Yeah.
And a movie, like this franchise needs that comedy. My question about Simon Pegg is, I have two questions. One, does he invent all the stuff that he has, or is he just the guy that's like teaching everybody how to use it?
That's a great question. I don't know anything about I didn't watch the show. I remember the first movie. I remember seeing that, but it seems like he does do it, but you never know because each time he's like, I don't know, it should work. I think it's like he read an instructional manual. Like
Correct.
The teacher called on him to do his book report and he had to just make something up because he's like, oh yeah, blue good, red bad for the gloves that stick on the building.
That's what it seems like. And first of all, in this movie, I think every thing that he handed out or had to do, everything did not work. At some point, everything broke down, from, one glove to falling, the magnet suit to even the faces that the masks he was making, like everything. And he almost, I want to say in this movie, I mean, he's funny, but why is he on the team? Because he seems useless. He's afraid of everything. He, outside of the one thing he does at the end of the movie, he literally, like, again, like you said, it sounds like he's like reading the instructions on how to do it for the first time. And he's just afraid of everything. Like he almost seems to be in the way of like everything that's going on, so yeah. And last thing is, where is he keeping all this stuff? Because they're always on the move. and they're always going somewhere else. Yet somehow he always has these extravagant, devices and everything else. Where are they coming from?
Yeah, that and the biggest question for me is, and I always think of like the pyramids, like that mystery of like when, oh yeah, that whenever these King Tuts and all of them put their stuff away and hid it, they set up a maze, like in all those movies, like in the Goonies. Like, are there those mazes set up? That's one thing I would love is true, but also I'd love that there's train cars going that have a secret code and you need to get scanned. And when you go in, it's like a room with
Well,
weapons.
it seems like they're a small organization.
Yeah.
They're literally there's 4 people. Like that's the
Yeah,
organization,
yeah, yeah.
and maybe the guy that's running it. And it's just like how do they have access? Because they are like the government doesn't like them, right? It's a secret, organization they're doing, but they somehow have managed to really have, like you said, a train here, a room
I
here,
know,
like
yeah.
in every country. Everywhere they go, there's some kind of secret spot that they're able. Like, when are they building that in front of people that they're kind of doing it hidden, but somehow they're able to get. It just,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just so. I mean, it is so over the top. I mean, but again, that's like James Bond. I mean, it's not much different, except at least James Bond has like a headquarters. Like, there's no headquarters here.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Like,
on the move.
they're on the
They're
move
in
all the
between.
time. That's
They're in between places. Oh, where you living? They're just like couch surfing. Ethan
it,
Hunt.
Oh, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, but again, that's what makes it entertaining, but it is, like I said, where does he hold? Because he has, like, again, the screen that he uses. Now, they're even if they're carrying suitcases wherever they go, you can't he has the suit, he has the gloves, he has the screen with the projector. Like, there's no and how does he know before they go? Because it seems that Ethan Hunt comes up with these plans sometimes on the fly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
if he's coming up on the fly, how does Simon Pegg know ahead of time? Oh, well, we're definitely going to need the screen that looks like a hallway, and we're gonna,
Yeah, oh my
like.
god, dude, that thing.
But I mean, but like, how does he know ahead of time? Because he literally these plans he has to come on the fly because they never work out the first time, so he has to find an alternate way to do it. Yet Simon Pegg is always prepared with the right equipment.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. Oh yeah, well, I need one of these. Oh, we have to go to this hallway. Oh, okay, great. We have this thing that can make it that not even just is like the old cartoons, like a painting. It's gonna move with the person, so they don't notice. That's
Uh, um,
insane.
I mean, it's cool technology, but like he just happened to have that. It's like, in all the James Bond movies, when he talks to because in every James Bond, he always talks to the inventor guy. At least you see the guy
Q,
that's
yeah.
inventing him. And somehow in the next hour, something comes up where he just happens to happen to use that one thing that the
Yeah.
guy gave him. Like, because if he didn't have that, he would, and that's so it's almost like Simon Pegg. Like, he just happened to grab, like, he probably went to his trunk of all these gadgets and he's like, all right, let me go to grab this. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab that. And just happened to be able to use everything he grabbed.
What can I carry into the office today? Not like what I really need. It's like, what do I happen to get? Or maybe he does like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, closes his eyes, and he's like, man, I hope this magnet suit thing that I don't know how to drive. Somehow he did. All he has to go is go front and back. That's all he has to go is forwards and backwards. And somehow he can't do that.
Again, it looks like he's using everything for the first time. Like, it's almost like they've never tested any of it, and they're going to test it when they need to use it. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and that's why none of it works. Because, like, if you're going to invent something, 9 out of 10 times, the first time you use it, it might last for 2 seconds and then it's going to break, right? Because it's brand new. So it's
Yeah.
almost like these inventions are never used. He comes up with them and he's like, all right, let's try it now when we're in the heat of the moment. Like, again, Jeremy Renner with that suit.
Oh
He
my
had to
god.
use it like probably for the first time ever, and obviously it didn't work. And he almost, fried. So it's what?
I think the craziest invention, which we'll get into the movie front to back like we always do, was the eyeball.
Oh,
The
yeah.
somebody was printing, like it was triggering something in the other. That was insane.
I wonder, like, in the real CIA or like I mean, whatever we have, like, do we have things
I'm
like
sure,
that?
dude. Anything
Y-
that we
Yeah,
have, cell phone wise, technology, like going on Google Earth, if we can see that close into a backyard, they can see everything in the
No,
backyard.
but do they have a contact lens that
I'm
prints?
sure
Like,
they
like
do. I'm
that's
sure because
just crazy.
yeah, they have to have this crazy.
That's
Some of this
crazy.
has to be like the glove walking in the building. I don't know if I've ever like. I'm sure
That's
they
to say,
have that. They have to.
and no one spotted anyone using it. Like, I mean,
No,
like, so it's like, I mean, these inventions, like, like if they are, first of all, if they're not real, how about make them real after watching these movies? I mean, like you see all these movies that all these cool. I mean, look at his car at the end of the movie. That looked like such a futuristic car that
oh
he was
yeah.
driving. And somehow, and again, any action movie, they were able to drive like 95 miles an hour in the tightest quarters and like no problem.
Oh wait, in the tightest quarters and can't see anything
I
because of the
can't see
sandstorm.
anything.
That
Yeah.
was insane.
Oh, that
All
sandstorm
right.
was ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
All
get
right.
into this. So,
Okay.
so Josh Holloway, who I really like, was he
Yep.
in the previous movies? Because
I don't think so. I don't think
I
so.
would have loved to have. So that makes me make that's a big time cameo. Lost was already on at this point. This movie came out in 2011. Lost was on since 2003, so it was over. And he gets shot like that in the beginning. He's a nothing character.
Well, it's funny when he first of all, I mean, the movie just starts off right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I like about these movies. Like, it doesn't waste time, and like, there's always like a big action scene in the beginning of the movie. And this movie does like shut right away. But when I first saw him, I mean, it was the angle, or whatever. I thought it was Tom Cruise wearing one of those masks.
Oh, I
Because
can see
it was
that.
just the way. Yeah, that's what I thought at first.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, pretty crazy cameo for the time, because he was obviously big back then, and yeah, I mean, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, but to see him, I was just like, man, this is awesome. And I thought the same thing. I'm like, dude, I was like, man, he's gonna be in this for a while. I'm like, this is a really cool. And then what happens? He looks at his phone. He like gets away, beats up some guys, and then he looks at his phone and it's like new target, and it's the woman walking there who seems so innocent, shoots him through, and I'm like, holy shit, he's dead.
That would, but you know what though? But the way it happened was very cool. The fact that he
Oh,
looked
it was.
down, saw his phone, and she was right there. I mean, so like, that was definitely cool. I'm
Is that
so
technology real?
that's
Like a
well, that's
bolo
probably
on
the
people's
easiest one.
faces?
I think so.
A bolo on people's faces, like no matter what, like if a cop's sitting on a corner, any car that passes, it'll trigger something like it's scanning the plates.
I think so.
That'd be wild.
I think so. I think. I mean, listen, they scan our conversations, and that's why you get all these advertisements. The minute you go on your junk mail or Instagram or Facebook, you start seeing advertisements.
Wait,
of things you talked about.
there's not 40-year-old singles near me looking to hang out.
Well, that's the conversation you had last night. You're going to start finding them. So
I just put it out there right now.
so here's real. The only problem I have with this movie, and again, it was entertaining. Well, it's kind of like combined, but like, first of all, I think the villain was lame. Like, like
God,
like, first of all, he was older, and he should not have given Tom Cruise any kind of trouble, at the end of the movie. But like, I don't know what his purpose was. Like, first of all, I didn't even know who the villain was, because you had him, then you had the other guy with the mask later on, and like, I'm like,
but
all right,
that was that same guy. That's why it made no sense to me.
wait,
Yeah,
the guy in the sandstorm was the same guy at the end? No,
the guy in
someone
the
different.
sandstorm
That takes his mask off. He had a mask on underneath.
Yeah.
That was a different guy.
No, that guy got away. Didn't the guy get away in the?
Yeah, he got away, and that's it. I think he got it, but they was chasing him in the sandstorm. But that wasn't the guy at the end of the movie. Is what I'm saying.
I thought the guy that took the mask off in the car.
No, he was a younger guy. I think. I think the guy that took the guy took his mask off in the sandstorm. He was out. He took the. It was like a big reveal. That wasn't the old man. I don't think so.
Was it? I think it was.
That's what I'm saying.
It was the old man. It was.
I don't think it
was. There's a guy that just went off to the. No,
I thought it was one of his henchmen. I thought he was like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it was someone else.
In the next scene when he's fine, we see him driving when they go to the TV station.
No,
the satellite.
I know.
He's in the car with the guy that he was wearing the mask of.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think the whole villain thing was very confusing. First of all, I don't know why he's trying to use a nuclear weapon. I mean, maybe I missed it, or they didn't even
Well, he
explain
said
it.
the
But
line of at the end of the movie, he wants to like reset the society. So he's just doing it to bomb. And the bomb was going, they were in Paris? Yeah, they were in
Dubai.
Paris, right?
Oh no, Dubai. When they
At the
Dubai was
very
where.
end of the movie?
Okay. Oh, Paris.
At the
Okay.
very, very end of the movie.
Right. Okay.
Or were they still in India? I forgot. But when that, remember that the rocket goes in the air and it's going into
Yeah.
like a downtown. So I forget what country that was, but I guess that would
But
reset the society for him. I don't know.
that makes no sense. And okay, so you have to wait until the end of the movie to find out why he's doing that. And even if he wants to reset society, why does he want to reset society? Like, I feel like there was no explanation from the villain. There was no
Yeah.
like at least like in the previous ones, I think Philip Seymour Hoffman was one of them. I think wasn't
Yeah, he was the second one.
Malik, what's his name? The guy from
Rami
iRobot.
Malek was one.
Yeah, wasn't he one, or was he James Bond? I don't know what. Like,
Oh no,
I
James
think
Bond. He's definitely James Bond. Rami
okay,
Malek,
so James Bond. So like, I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like this villain. First of all, I don't even know who the actor is. Like, so there was no one big, like no like big.
It was just that
I don't feel
like you said, he was older, and it was just weird because even the part when he's wearing the mask, like the reveal happens, when he's in the building, they're doing that whole scene like with the switcheroo, the rooms and everything. I'm like, okay, this has to be the best. Like, this is like the end of the movie. That the only thing I didn't like about the movie was definitely the story, like you mentioned, but like the structure. There was like some really bad lulls.
Oh,
Like the action was
you mean
great.
the Indian party? Like that party
Oh
was
my
to
god,
me. Yeah, I mean, outside of she looked great, but like it was
Paula Patton's great.
Oh,
Yeah,
she's great. But it was a slow. I mean, that part, like, it slowed things down, right? I mean, again, they had its low points in this movie, but like, to me, the villain was, to me, the worst part. Like, I think this is a good action movie, but like, there was no suspense with it. Like, you weren't afraid of this villain, right? You know, a lot of movies, you know, you're like, hey, listen, Hans Gruber. That guy's like, you know, like, I wouldn't want to be in a room with the guy. The guy's creepy. Like, in a lot of these movies, the villain, you know, there is no fear with this villain. Like, there was no like suspense. There was no, and again, there was confused of what he's trying to do. So I think they missed the point on that. And that was, I think, my biggest gripe.
yeah, no, the, yeah, it is bad because every movie. Think about every action movie that we love. There's a good villain. Like there's some that are good, still good action movies, but the great ones have a great bad guy. Commando or Buddy.
Cliffhanger, John Lithgow. Yeah. I mean, like,
yes.
you know, like that, you know, Rambo, even Rambo. I mean, like, you know, like any action movie, you know, but this movie, like, he's forgettable. Like I thought that there was someone else in there. That's how forgettable he is. Like, you know, like I just feel like he wasn't, again, it was a no-name guy. He was older and he didn't explain. So, I mean, I think that kind of ruined it, but, anyway. All right. So, you know, Josh Holloway gets shot. And that starts off the, you know, that part. And then we see up the prison, which they didn't explain why. Why was he in prison?
They don't explain, right? Well, they don't know. They explain it at the end of the movie.
Again, but you have to wait. So okay. So at the end of the movie, you have to wait 2.5 hours to find out why the villain wants to blow everybody up and why Tom Cruise is in prison.
Well, they say, well, what he says to Simon Pegg says to Paula Patton is that he's actually in prison. Like that's a legit thing. But then later we find out like the BS reason. But
correct.
Yeah, but it is insane. Like I love that Simon Pegg acknowledges how insane the scenario is when even though the guard was being a jerk, dude, the fear of that guy, like hearing the and then one gets let out and then the other one gets let out behind you. But dude, that was such a chaotic scene.
I forget what I'm watching with my wife. Watching Escape from Dana. It was based on a true story with Benito del Toro and Paul Dano.
You butchered his name. You just butchered his name.
I know. Whatever. He doesn't listen to this anyway. So, but it's a true story about two convicts that escape a New York prison. This happened like mid 2000s because they were having an affair with one of the female.
Yeah, that was like 2010s. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Upstate
so
New York.
it was a mini series. So it was a like so
Wow.
we're watching it now, and like my wife and I were like, who would want to be a correction officer in these like
Yeah.
scenarios? Like it's like you got to have something. I mean, I know they get paid decent. It's not worth it, man. I mean, these guys are ready to attack at any moment. You know, like
Frightening. Yeah.
it's frightening. I mean, again, so to see, look at this Tom Cruise. I mean, and this is in another country, right? So I mean, this is like even worse. Was it Russia? I think it was. But
Yeah. He was in Russia because
okay,
that's where they
Russia.
needed to be.
So
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are super crazy. And again, Tom Cruise is crazy because he has it out and he decides to go back in.
Oh my god. That was insane, dude. Yeah, because he saved the guy. He saved the
but
guy that ended. Yeah.
how funny are the sounds of the punches in that whole scene? It's like the typical sound effects for punches. They were so loud every punch that Tom Cruise threw.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And just the way he's trying to go through the doors, and because there's no communication, they can't. Just the head nod.
Yeah,
Looking at each other, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But no, that was such a cool scene. And
No,
even
and
like
it
when
was, and you said,
he starts
no,
letting
go
the
ahead.
people out, and how big is that one guy? And
Oh
you're
my
thinking he's
gosh.
gonna fight him, and he's just like, go.
Well, that's the thing. Like there's so many big people in prison also, and yeah, it's crazy. But that interaction between him and Simon Pegg was pretty funny. You know, like because you have such a tense scene going on, but they're banter back and forth, which was silent banter. Just like the facial expression of Tom Cruise. I thought it was very entertaining.
Yeah, and how cool was it? What started the plan? Because he's like bouncing his ball against the wall, kind of like maybe an homage to The Great Escape.
Yep.
I didn't think about that because he did that in that movie. But yeah, and then he's like, all right, now time for phase 2. Dean Martin triggers this whole plan to start. And then we find out when the song's over, he has to be in the spot. That somehow Paula Patton's under the prison in the right, she has some crazy shit in this movie. Like
I didn't realize she was such a good action star. I mean, like,
she didn't do much. Like I was looking at her IMDb because I remember the whole thing with her and Robin Thicke, and dude, she's in not enough action movies.
No,
like she's
I
very
agree.
good in this movie.
I agree. I looked her up too, and I'm like, really? Like, she really wasn't that much that I think I've seen with her. But she was that fight with the girl was great. I mean, like,
oh my god, that was an awesome scene.
Or even the scene. I mean, as slow as that whole dancing scene, but the way she was smacking around the Indian guy, like, I mean, that was
funny.
it was great.
No, it was a funny scene. Yeah,
it was. So I mean, but yeah, I mean, but this prison, like this Tom Cruise, it was almost like he was doing a little parkour. Dodging, all these fights and like, and I mean, not for nothing. The way he found the guy, he jumps over the railing and lands perfectly on the next level of the prison. It's so ridiculous. Like he really they really made him like a superhero. Like he's some kind of superhero.
Oh yeah, dude.
He really is. Because there's nothing he can't do.
Stuff. Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
There's nothing he can't do, and he doesn't get injured because one of the things
he gets injured.
Dude, he should be dead when he dives back into the skyscraper on the skyscraper. Okay. When he drives back in and he hits his head, he'd be dead.
Okay, what the whole last scene? He should have died 5 times.
No,
in that big fight scenes. So, but I'll tell you, like, he's a small guy. He's probably like 5'8". He was in pretty good shape in this movie. I mean, I mean,
he doesn't mess around. Yeah, no,
he doesn't mess around.
He's a professional actor. Like anybody can say, he's one of those people that he's like an actor's actor because he always gives it his all. Honestly, I can't tell you a movie that I've seen that he mailed it in. It might not be the best movie, but he always, just like Nick Cage. Nick Cage is always trying. It could be the worst script, the worst lines, but he's giving it everything.
He does give it all, but with Tom Cruise, he's kind of like DiCaprio. Cruise doesn't make too many bad movies.
No,
I mean, he has a handful, like Night and Day or whatever. But even then, they're a little they're entertaining. But
when he acts crazy, I like him as like a comedic actor. Yeah,
he is. But as bad as his movies, like any of his movies are, like they're entertaining bad, right? Like where Nicolas Cage. Some of them are a little torturous, I mean, but, so I think that's the difference. But I mean, and again, I know it's that whole Tom Cruise running thing, which he does a lot in this movie. But my and I say that, I think I say this for every action movie that we've covered. Mm-hmm. They're always running in a suit and like dress shoes. Like,
Oh, I
first of all,
know.
your feet have to hurt, you know, and like, why never wear sneakers? They never
Just
wear
pack
sneakers.
them. Bring a bag, a
Or
duffel bag,
take the
hide it in the
jacket off.
bush, switch real quick.
Correct. Or take the jacket off. Like, okay, if you have to run in the shoes because you don't have time to take them off, fine. But you still have to run in a jacket. Like, you still have to wear your suit. Like, take the jacket off. You're going to move a little faster if you're not wearing a jacket.
They do it to henchmen all the time. Even
All
good
the
guys are
time.
done with it.
You have to look
James
good when you're a
Bond,
bad
my
guy.
next James Bond is wearing an Adidas tracksuit. And he's just going to be limber. He can roll better. He can get out of the way.
That would make sense, especially sneakers. You know, listen, when you're fancy, you could get away with wearing a suit and sneakers.
Yeah,
Why
you
not?
have no grip. You're trying to run. You try to stop on a dime when a bomb could be coming, car could be coming. You're slipping right in. You have sneakers or good grip. You're good.
You're wearing a jacket. Your jacket get caught on something, a nail, and then now what? Like whatever. So I mean, but every movie, you have to look good while you're chasing someone or running for your life.
Yeah. Paparazzi takes a photo. You don't want to be wearing like grease-stained sweatpants.
Why? Adam Sandler doesn't care.
He does not. What the man? But the fact that he gets to the spot just in time when he's like carrying the guy around, they get there right there, boom, and they're able to escape. And then we get a whole recap from Paula Patton because her partner was.
Wait, before you get there though. But before you get there, so he gets there and then he lights the fuse. What was that fuse for?
Yeah.
Because first of all, it was the longest fuse ever. That it literally it was like a 10-minute fuse. And like didn't even go anywhere. Like it didn't even go anywhere. Because like as soon as the credits were done, they went to the next scene. So he lights the fuse. You don't see what he's lighting it
right.
for.
They should have some ending for it, right?
So some kind of explosion, because there was no explosion. It almost reminded me of Naked Gun, the way it was, because you see the fuse going, and then you saw all these little scenes in between, and it was like the fuse's point of view, because it kept going and going and seeing these scenes. It really was Naked Gun-ish.
Yeah. I was like, man, this is going on forever.
Forever. And then it doesn't explode. It goes to the next scene. Like that, he lights a fuse that did nothing.
That is true. Why wouldn't they have any? They could have had it maybe like blow for more of a distraction, blow the side of the prison open. The prisoners are able to escape. You're right. Yeah, there's no end.
Something.
There was no something that needs to have an end.
Yeah. Or you know what? I'd be happy if he just blew up the credits at the end and you see the credits blow up. Like some kind of explosion. You made us watch a fuse for 10 minutes and nothing happens?
Oh my God, dude. And now we get like more context of what happened to Josh Holloway. All the people are after the same file. That was, again, talking about another frightening thing. Like, obviously, the prison scenario, all the doors opening up is scary. But if you're, I'm sure as a secret agent or FBI or CIA or whatever, you're used to it. But when he's like walking and all the other people start looking at him and he starts noticing them look, and then then he has to like sprint and it's just like a brawl.
Yeah.
He takes out some, but
he does. No, I know. Here's another question. So this is a small agency, that not somehow in every movie, there's always someone else that's part of the agency. Like Paula Patton.
People die.
Patton.
They got to bring in somebody new.
Okay. That is the case, but he never knows who they are because they always have to introduce themselves to him every time they meet. So the hiring process.
Who's hiring? Maybe they don't talk to him. They're like, the main Ethan, guy. We're going to get anyone, and you're not going to do anything about it.
Well, not for nothing. Every single one they do is usually a good-looking woman. Like they I want them in one of the Mission Impossibles to hire a real frumpy, like the secretary from Ferris Bueller. Like hire her for one time, like in a movie. It's for Mission Impossible. Here's your new partner. She's
that'd be funny.
She's the explosive expert.
Edie McClurg and Tom Cruise star. That'd be good.
No, it's always like some kind of beautiful woman that's in this secret society that they hire. So
it's like a Bond movie when it's like, hey, I'm here. I'm gonna save that random guy.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Okay.
Oh my God, man. But so I think this is the part where we see the camera contacts, because we see him in his eye. So he was about to, I think, get the file because we see it in Josh Holloway's eye because that was some of the okay. Yeah.
So did he get the mission yet? This mission will explode. This message will explode in.
I think right here because this is when we find out the file. Yeah, we find out more details about the file has the Russian codes, and he has to go to the Kremlin.
Okay. So I have a couple of questions about this. So one, they're always it's always like at a phone or somewhere, that's pretty public. What if someone else grabbed it? What if someone else picked it up and you hear that message and the person on the other line is like, "Whoa, I got a mission to do." It's
that would be really good. But that's like the man who knew too little.
The man too. Yeah, but he thought it was a game. No, he thought did he think it was a game? Yeah, he thought it was a game, right?
No, his brother set it up and thought it was a game. Bill Murray was like, just go.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, because remember his brother was annoying.
Yeah.
So Peter Gallagher got him out of the house. Wow, that's a good one.
Oh, it's a great movie. But I mean, what if a random person opened, or again, it's self-destruct, but like again, this didn't work either. He had to go back and tap it. Isn't it kind of dangerous? It's like a firecracker that doesn't go.
That is a bit. That is so funny because it's almost like, okay, this joke's getting old. That's what it seems like they're doing. But that's such a trope, right? Inspector Gadget would do that. Didn't Get Smart? Same kind of bit.
Oh yeah. Well, Get Smart is based on this. That's what Get Smart is based on. Mission Impossible, just the comedy version.
Oh, just a spoof of it. Oh, okay.
The spoof of it.
They did have the same thing. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Get Smart was a TV show, right?
I know the show.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, but I mean,
Nick at Night, man.
Oh, the show was great. I mean, I remember as a kid, there was a movie they made. I think it was like a TV movie called The Naked Bomb or something like that. And it was a Get Smart movie. The show used to be so funny.
The girl was gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
the girl in the show was gorgeous.
Yeah. But I mean, so it's self-destruct. So in this again, what if it's self-destruct? It's like you ever do like a fireworks package, you light it and it's not going off. You're nervous going back there to light it again because you don't know if it's going to explode. That's basically what this was. Like he went, it's supposed to self-explode. He walks away, nothing, and he walks back. What if it exploded as he was touching it?
But how much of an explosion? Wouldn't they be getting in trouble for the damage they're causing, blowing up phone booths up and down, Broadway in New York? Excuse me, you guys are blowing up too much. Stop. Can you get your secret call somewhere else?
And why does it have to be an explosion? Can it it's a message. They just can't erase it.
Yeah, why can't it
it's an erase it. Like yeah, I know.
It's so stupid.
I still want to see like an old lady answer it. And like she gets the mission.
What? Edie McClure.
Who is this?
What? And then the guy on the end just like is going along. Come on. I think we have the wrong number. No, that's got to be it. Only one person can answer the phone. Nobody else. Only Ethan can answer the phone that way. It's ridiculous.
And the guy that's planting it, like, is he like looking around, make sure no one's looking? He plants it, like runs away. Like, is he planting it like right before Ethan gets there? So he's like, all right, here comes Ethan. We got to plant it now, and then let me get out of the way so he can't see me. Like, why
he's
can't
hiding
they just
in the corner with a lampshade on his head?
Like, wouldn't it be easier? Like, hey, Ethan, here's a package. Just here. Like, why can't they just hand it to him? They have to do it like.
More rewards, more savings. With American Express Business Gold, earn up to $395 back in annual statement credits on eligible purchases at select shipping, food delivery, and retail subscription merchants, including the $155 Walmart Plus monthly membership credit and $240 flexible business credit. Enjoy the benefits of membership with the Amex Business Gold Card. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
Seems like it's a
lot
more
work. Can you just read this? Give it back to me. Come on.
And I'll rip it up. Like, it's very simple. Like, being a letter and that's it. It has to be this, yeah.
And that'd be fun. That'd be really funny. The guy who gives him the letter, it's a guy, and the next to him's like a little chubby guy. And he gives him the letter to read. He takes it back and he gives it to the other guy and he eats it. And a very drawn out thing. He's chewing on it. It's like taking forever.
See, I can see that in like The Naked Gun. That would be such a Naked Gun
thing.
Thing.
That would be good. That'd be good.
Oh my
But yeah,
gosh.
so now Ethan has to get into the Kremlin. And at first, Simon Pegg thought he said gremlin. How do you get inside a gremlin?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And okay, so the Kremlin, you would think would have the best security you possibly could have, right? I mean, like, the security there is absolutely awful.
Oh, they're horrible.
They're awful. And, it's such a trope in every movie. Security guards are either eating, watching TV, or playing cards. In every movie, those are the three things they're doing. Eating, like they're eating. And
The prison guards.
eating,
The prison guards were just talking in the room in the first scene. Yeah. All terrible.
Guards in a prison in like high security place, they're always eating, and it's not even like just having like a sandwich. It's like usually like a full meal that they can't, like, paper all over the place, and they're eating like 3 burgers and fries. They're playing cards, which security guards are playing cards while they're on the job.
Yeah.
Or they're watching TV. They're watching a basketball game with their feet up on the table and not paying attention. Like literally, that's every movie.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think about it. Like, you're getting paid. That's your job. Like, other people have jobs. They do their jobs. Your job is to watch to make sure nothing's there. So if you're not looking at the screen, that is like, the house you're guarding as a security guard, like some mansion, you're not doing your job. You're watching the game. How are you going to know who comes up?
And we're not talking about like doing this at Target. I fine. I can see, like, you're in the Target, security room, you're not paying attention. Great. This is the Kremlin. Like, at least in England,
this is the Kremlin, buddy. You better step up your game. This isn't Target. That was the old red Target. Now you're in the real red Target of Russia.
What do you think? Is this Target? This is not Target. This is the Kremlin.
Now act like it. You're Kremlin now. Act like it. But yeah,
I think that's
for them not to pay
problem.
attention.
They hire ex guards
Target
from
employees.
See, they need to hire from England those guys that stand guard from the palace and don't move. Those are the guys you need. Like, they take it serious. Even in movies, they're always taking it serious.
Yeah, that is an insane job. But yeah, no, that's what they should do. But no, these people were, the fact that he's able to, like, the makeup looks great. He looks like the guy that's gone for the day. All that's fine. But as soon as he scans the thing and it doesn't work, right away he should be like, hey, this is a guy I see here all the time and it's not working.
Yeah. Okay. But let's be honest. The guy that he's trying to be literally looks like Tom Cruise with a mustache.
Well, yeah.
I mean, so like,
it worked out perfect.
I mean, you really look at that picture. Like, all they did was put a nose and mustache on Tom Cruise. That's all they did for the. So, like, because that was when the masks didn't work, right? So they had to go in with just the nose and mustache.
No. That's the end of the
later on. Okay.
Yeah.
So regardless, that was the costume, and so, like, when I'm looking at the actual picture of the guy, I'm like, was that really Tom Cruise in the picture? And just wearing it like that wasn't someone else, because they really looked very similar.
And Simon Pegg is like just along for the ride, enjoy it. He's like kind of like scared, having fun, because he always wanted to be like in the field. So he's graduating from just inventions. Now he's inventions or
okay. So let me ask you this. So why is Simon Pegg there at all? Just to set up the projector? Like, because that looks like something Tom Cruise could have done. Because even after Simon Pegg did the projector, he almost got himself in front of the camera multiple times. Like, Tom Cruise had to stop him. So you're going to tell me Tom Cruise is not, the guy can do everything. He's not smart enough to figure out how to lift the projector up and use the duck call, or the water call. That's all Simon Pegg did.
That was cool. The water thing.
It was cool.
Checking around.
But why do you need Simon Pegg? Again, he's afraid of everything. He doesn't use guns until the end. So, like, why? Like, he's almost like a liability when you take him out with you.
Yeah, no, he definitely is going to get you killed. And he didn't really help at all. It's not like he spoke Russian or anything.
No, nothing.
No, he really doesn't help. But he's just funny.
Oh, he is.
Oh my God.
I mean, but but
you don't want somebody in a situation like that to be funny, and then you get caught in the Kremlin and you get killed because some guy looked at the screen that showed the hallway of a giant. So that he looks up at that right moment, he sees a giant floating head.
That looked pretty funny though when he did that. When he stood up.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can see Tom Cruise was frustrated with him multiple times, because it was all silence, but he made the fists at him. He made all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so again, everything Simon Pegg did, Tom Cruise could have done without him.
Yeah. And I love that they were just moving up enough, because I was trying to figure out what they were doing. Like, are they getting close enough to like whack this guy or what? And then they just get past the doorway. They're able to get in, and then that's when we find out somebody else is at the Kremlin at the same time.
Yep.
That's where we meet the villain. That's the first time we see him.
It is interesting.
And
but it was cool technology. I mean, and it was definitely a scene that was mixed with comedy and suspense, I guess, because the guard kept getting up looking for the drip somewhere. So that was pretty cool. I mean, but again, and I said this before, I know they walked in with bags, but that thing looked pretty big to fit in any bag that he had. So I don't know where he kept it.
And how about to go back to the guards being so dumb? How about when they're all looking at the hallway and it starts flickering and the angle is all wrong and everything, and it's like it took them a long time to walk up and touch the screen and then finally figure out what was going on.
Well, I mean, in reality, if you saw that, you're going to think it's like some kind of alien or space, some science fiction-y, it definitely looked bizarre, when you're staring at a hallway, and that also it's just, a little freaky looking at first. So I don't think
maybe there's a ghost story about the haunted hallway of the Kremlin. And
I'm sure there's many ghost stories of the Kremlin.
I do love how he gets out when he finally, he's running for a while because chaos is happening. He runs and then does the backhand to the door, which is so dumb. And then he just walks in the hallway anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just but I love when he's like, close the gates. And he walks out through the hallway and he's in a Bruce Springsteen shirt. How did they do all that?
Well, how about, where did Simon Pegg go?
I hated that we did not know how he got out. I know.
I mean, okay, so why is Tom Cruise running, but Simon Pegg doesn't have to get out of there fast?
Yeah, I know. And they should have showed that to us, or how he got out, or something.
Right.
That's when we got that weird thing. We didn't see him for a while.
We didn't. And why even separate in the first place? How do you know, whatever way Simon Pegg's going, he doesn't have any talent to handle himself.
Yeah.
Why would you let him go alone? Them splitting up really didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, no, that was so stupid.
Okay.
And now,
it was almost like Simon Pegg knew a back door somewhere. That's literally how it looked.
Yeah. How did they get into this place? This wasn't when they dropped the balloon, right?
Oh, they were following. That was, I want to
say
that was
for the elevators. No, that was a different scene.
Yeah, it was the
right?
elevator. Yeah, that was no, was it this one? No, I think that might have been this one. Because they were following the balloon, and that's how they walked right in. No, because they went to security in the beginning of this one, so that wasn't.
Yeah. No, there's something later with the balloon. Then I thought I wrote it down, but maybe that was. That might have been when they get to Dubai. But how about the explosion? That looks, dude. The way the Kremlin exploded and him running, and that was a wild scene.
How did he know there were tunnels there? He was running.
You talking about when
he
escaped? You're talking about when he escaped? Oh,
yeah.
They probably know from some kind of plane. You're talking about before he's in the Bruce shirt, before the explosion happens?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how
he was running for a while. There were a lot of
know.
tunnels. So, and you're going to tell me he knew exactly how to get out of the tunnel? I'm sure they're kind of maze-like.
And how do you remember that? Left, right, right?
No, you don't. Again, this is the Kremlin. I mean, it really should be a little bit more high security, and there were no guards in the tunnel.
Yeah, I know.
It was empty.
Dark
It was completely
no guards. Yeah,
there wasn't one person in there.
They were all looking at the wall. They were looking at the hallway, flickering. all 7 guys. But yeah, but that explosion when he walks out, and you're like, man, he got out unscathed, man. I know, obviously the plane went to hell, but I don't know where you see the explosion, and it was just that looks really good, and just Jesus, amount of people died in that scene. Oh my!
Did they even talk about that?
No, they don't. But I'm just saying how big that explosion was.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't even mention it,
and how he survived, and the fact that he survived, and obviously, I thought he threw his jacket off when he started running. I don't know why.
I thought he turned it inside out.
Well, no, he did do that. No, he did.
Okay.
So I'm saying when the guy catches him and he's like, because he's like, why am I handcuffed?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, this is your coat. And it's like,
Yeah.
he couldn't have just thrown that or had a better way of getting rid of that evidence.
Well, he was also the worst cop also. Like awful. Like he wasn't a good cop. He was 2 steps behind the entire movie. Yeah.
And even how he gets the information later in the movie is such a dumb scene. Oh my God, dude. There's some great people, like the overacting by some of the other rando characters. Like definitely that guy, the arms dealer guy.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely like the way he's repeating the lines. Oh, so what you're saying is I wouldn't tell you this.
Well, I watched this movie on my Fire Stick and it didn't have subtitles. So I didn't understand anything that was going on in some of these scenes. So yeah. So
I'll fill you in from what I remember.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, but you have to use it. You got to fill me in with the Russian accent.
I can do that for you, Boris, Natasha.
Okay, not bad.
So now they're like blaming Ethan for this bomb. Like, again, obviously bad guys to make mistakes, but most of the time I think they're gonna blow something up when they're not there. That would be the person that would be my suspect, because just his history, which I don't even know if right away they know so much about him, but you would be like, all right, this guy seems like a pro. He wouldn't be like in the bomb area.
Of course. I mean, yeah. But they had no. There was. I don't know. Like I said, there were so many people dead, and he just happened to be right there.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But he gets out so quick. How does that happen?
They only handcuff one. Is that like? I don't know. Did they
handcuff one hand?
Two?
Yeah. What? Yeah. They couldn't do both.
Okay.
I guess because maybe like, oh, we need the other one just in case he needs to get blood or something.
But if they think this guy is a major terrorist who blew up the Kremlin, I think one, he would have more security there because he had no security, right? Until they got there. Like there was no one out. Like they were the only cops there. Like they should have been security outside the door. Like there's no way he should have been able to escape because this guy just blew up the Kremlin. Like
you're right. It's some guy was like, oh yeah, who's that guy that's sitting in that sitting over there? Oh yeah, he just blew up an entire building.
Okay.
Where he's gonna go in a little bit, and it's like, okay, what does he need to do? Yeah, he's gonna go to the bathroom. We're gonna let him go by himself. We trust him.
Well, like another trope in every movie besides playing cards and everything else, the guy that's the security that's watching sitting behind in the hallway by the door. He's reading a newspaper.
Oh, you got it.
That's every movie. The security guard.
They're always like that.
Every time.
Oh, hey, how can I help you? And they close it up. It's like, all right, dude, come on. There's murderers walking around. There's people that you need to focus on.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he gets out real quick.
Dude, he grabs something from the nurse, he cuffs it, and then he's gone. And it's just like, dude, him getting away was pretty cool. That was
It was, but he grabs one jacket off the clothesline and it fit perfectly.
Yeah.
First of all, who's hanging a jacket on a clothesline? Like usually you hang t-shirts, underwear, whatever. You don't hang a jacket. He grabs a jacket and it fit perfectly.
Perfectly. Yeah. That would be a funny thing. It's too tight or too big.
Well, is it any different than Arnold? Fits in his jacket in Terminator. Like the guy's a monster, yet somehow he fits into someone smaller. The jacket.
Well, Brian
perfectly.
Thompson, close in size, not as big, but yeah, no, I know. These guys know. Hey, you know what? He has this mapped out already in his head. Who wears my size? Which house adjacent to this hospital that I might end up at?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that he was waiting. He was thinking about jumping into the garbage can, or the dumpster. When he was on the ledge of when the doctor was.
Yeah.
And then he jumps on a car. What do you eventually jump on? It's a car.
Yes, he jumps on a truck that's going past, and he uses his belt.
Yes.
To slide down a cable.
Correct.
To do that, and I'm like, wait. Was he really joking in the scene with the cop, like messing with him that, I'm too scared to jump into a garbage can to make you not call for backup or something. Maybe that made the cop be like, I don't have to call for backup. This guy's a chicken. He's not going to do anything. Oh no, he's grabbing his belt. He's going to pull like some Indiana
the cop
Jones.
was so nonchalant wasn't he like smoking a cigarette? I think he was smoking a cigarette out the window, like waiting. But like, I don't think Tom Cruise is stalling. I think he thought it was a better option because the van was moving, so he would have been out of there faster. But
was it great? Dude, remember when he landed? He
that's
landed
what I'm saying.
on the top, did a tumble, and still fell on the ground.
That's what I'm saying. Like he thought that was, but like you don't think jumping in the garbage, which again, how many people jump in garbage, dumpsters all the time, and you're
come
always
out
okay?
Fine. I would think
come out
if
fine.
People do that, like maybe like 7 out of 10 times, you're dead. There's gonna be something sharp that somebody threw out.
100%. There's gonna be something sharp in there, but somehow, it seems like the garbage bags are filled with like feathers. Because they're like pillows in there because they always land in there.
Throw out your pillow day.
No cans with like sharp lids, nothing like that. Like no broken light bulbs. It just it's always like big round bags too. Like it's it's not the stuff like hanging out. I rarely do I ever get a garbage bag that's not have things sticking out of it. You gotta throw it away all the time, right? But in the dumpsters is always fluffy round bags, fully tight.
Yeah, it's always a carpet factory or something that they're something soft for them to land on. But no, but that was just insane. And he landed so far hard on the ground,
very hard.
Yeah, and then in the next quick scene, we meet some guy like trying to evacuate Russia. Oh my God, there's a bomb at the Kremlin. Oh man. And then they see like Ethan Hunt's photo, and it makes them like, oh my God, we get out of here. All right, let's leave. And then when he's getting to pack everything, he walks back in, and we see the eventual bad guy with the family at gunpoint. And we find out that's the guy that's going to confirm the nuclear launch code.
I feel like, again, a lot of this got very confusing, and maybe because I didn't see any of the, what the subtitles were. A lot of this.
Maybe.
So like, I mean, that probably added a lot to it. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm guessing what's going on, but I think I was like, especially the part when he goes to the warehouse and then he calls the other guy and they start speaking Russian, and like, I'm like, did he just set Tom Cruise up? Like, I didn't know. Like, I had no idea what was going on. So yeah, that didn't help.
I agree. That probably wouldn't have helped that whole scene because
did he go?
I watched it on Paramount, and I don't know if there must have been subtitles, but I feel like
you might have watched it automatically.
Oh, yeah, maybe I forgot. But it was just, it's a very horrific scene later in the movie. Like, really good writing. How much I said like, oh, I hated some of these things. There was like something the villain did later, a line they said that was pretty wild. But now we meet the Secretary of State. I don't know the actor's name. In a ton of stuff. I know
everything.
I feel like he was in the couple of the new Batman movies, but dude, he is amazing. And his partner is like this Rain Man. Jeremy Renner is a Rain Man, which Tom Cruise kind of makes sense because just the fact that he was able to give intel on somebody just by their face, and he drew on a hand doodle.
Oh my gosh. I mean, how ridiculous is that? I mean,
we could spoof this movie, dude. Like, honestly, Leslie Nielsen, this scene, it's just like, so who is it? And it's just like a circle with ... line.
Again, like the scene I sent you the other day. Like, it's like, that would be very funny. I mean, and I think, again, the movie, action is great and everything else, but there's so many like silly, like really silly stuff. Again, drawing the doodle on his hand is insane,
and him knowing everything about it, and you're like, no way, dude.
Well, I definitely was. I mean, I saw this a long time ago, so I didn't remember the movie. I was definitely fooled because I thought Jeremy Renner was we're gonna find out that he was, one of the villains. Like, he was.
Was he in more of these? Like, I wonder the next one, or besides Simon Pegg, Paula Patton's not back.
I think he's back. I think Jeremy Renner is in the next one, I think. But I think, if I remember correctly, because this sounds very familiar, that he didn't like the arc of his character. so he stopped going into the movies or something like that, or they were going to kill his character off and he didn't want that or something. There's I vaguely remember some kind of story with him of why he wasn't in future ones. I
Tom
think
Cruise is like, dude, we're killing you. We don't like you.
Well,
you know what?
Mean,
I won't show up to set.
Well, I mean, I think he was just getting hot at this point also because I think he made Hurt Locker. He was in, I don't know if he was in the Jason Bourne movie, like, so he started to make these, so I don't know if, maybe they were thinking like he's going to be part of this. I mean, listen, his action scene in this movie is pretty good too. Like, when he finally starts seeing what he does. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Like he's like another one, like where he started from. Wasn't he in that college movie? He was in one of those like college, like comedies. That's where he started from.
Oh yeah.
Like Undeclared or not, maybe on something like not road trip. Like he's in one of those comedy movies. I remember it being funny, and he was like a Van Wilder in the movie. Like he was the leader of like the whole, yeah. So that's where he started.
He's a good actor. I like him.
Yeah.
So now we find out IMF is now in Ghost Protocol, and it's disbanded now. But the guy wants. Again, kind of what the other guy, the arms dealer, says in subtitles later in the movie, but he's like, Ethan, if between now and us getting to the airport, you're able to escape, open the door, blah, 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 blah. And then Jeremy Renner's like, I don't want this to happen, which is kind of crazy. We find out like Jeremy Renner's like connect. That's you're so right. Like I love twists, but I hate when everything's a twist. I feel like every information we got fed in this movie as factual turned out to be a lie. Like even Jeremy Renner, his character is obviously a real agent, but his connection to him in that moment, you would think like, why?
Yeah. And I'm okay with him being an analyst who has, a little bit more action behind him. That's, I'm okay with that. Right. Because that's, you're thinking he's this nerdy guy and all of a sudden he's able to kick ass. So, I'm okay with that. But to add the fact that he's connected to Tom Cruise's wife and all that it's too much of a coincidence, and too much like
it was just weird.
It wasn't necessary and it really didn't pan out to anything. Like it really didn't, like nothing came out of that, at all. So, that was just, I think that was dumb on that part. But
now they're together. And I know me and my wife were watching the movie. I walked out of the room, but this is when the Secretary of State dies. I walked out of the room. She's like, "Oh, that guy died," and it's just Jeremy Renner and Tom Cruise now. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." But how did he get shot in the car? Was it something like that?
He got shot in the head. I think he got shot in the head.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he got shot in the head. And then this
is where the car misses that guy. So was it a sniper setup?
I guess. Like, I mean, that's a hell of a shot. I mean,
and they happen to miss. Were they going for Ethan? Or were they going for the Secretary of State? Or were they going for,
Well, if they went for Ethan, it would be a short movie. So they couldn't have been going for Ethan.
Could you imagine that? Roll credits, 35 minutes in.
How fast does that car sink in that when it crashes in the water? Like it went straight to the bottom. Like, I mean, again, in any movie you see, the car floats a little bit, slowly goes down. This literally like nosedived, and it was like a submarine. Right. Yeah, I mean, ridiculous.
Yeah, because the next note I have is the train. Like from here, they're on their own, right?
Well, they escaped the sink, the water coming into the car. They escaped that. So they happen to be just in the area of the train station.
Of the perfect train.
Train. Well, he heard it. He heard the horn or something of the train, and he knew exactly which one because they all look exactly the same. He knew which one.
Yeah. And just the fact that he's like punching the code, and they're like, it's a retinal scan, and he has to like get that close.
So he had to keep running back and forth. He had to go. It was like, again, another comical scene where he was running up to the thing, then he had to run back a little bit, and then he had to run back to the scene. Like, it just again silly, but the fact that how do they get and set up that whole thing there with no one? So you're telling me no one's ever gone on that train or tried to get on a train? No one that worked there said, how come this train door doesn't open?
Hey, Frank, this one doesn't open.
They're not going to try to open it.
Like, open it, right? You wouldn't they?
Like, I mean, it's so ridiculous because it's not like they were just hiding in there and they had like a couple boxes of bed. They had a whole setup in there. Like that was in there. Like, that's like a whole computer room that they had set up there. So they've been there a long time. no one's ever somehow by accident come across it?
Yeah, and we're still in Russia, right? I believe so.
I think so because
So this is in Russia?
that's
Like
and
the
again,
Russia just has an American owned train car.
and their
Not an
team,
entire train, just one car.
and it's one car which is
Yeah.
souped up, and it's
Yeah.
only a team of 4 people. So
Yeah.
how are they doing it? Like, so even though this team is only 4 people, do they have like the engineers that design all this stuff, like go on like their own like little like, so who like designed that whole computer thing and set it up? Like that's a separate team. It's not this team.
Yeah, not Pegg,
Like,
because it wouldn't
No,
work.
so that's a whole other team.
The lights would have turned
Well,
out when they go in there.
The door definitely wouldn't have opened. And
Yeah. But yeah,
Okay.
so now it's 4 of them versus Russia. But then right from there, it's like we have to go to Mumbai. So then now they're in Dubai. Oh no, I'm sorry. They go to Dubai. So it's Russia, Dubai, then Mumbai.
Correct.
So now they're in Dubai.
Yes.
God, dude.
And okay, I mean, first of all, I mean, is this where they set up the fake office, right? Or the fake? They had the 2 things
Well,
going
that's
at
where they
once.
switch in the rooms. This scene was really funny because this is where they have to go to the server to the outside.
Correct.
So this is where they establish, like, okay, Ethan, you're gonna have to go out there.
Okay. So, but they didn't know that he had to go that way, right? Because he that wasn't the first option, right? To go to
the
climb.
first option was, because they couldn't get because they don't have the backing anymore of the government. So they could have. Remember, he's like, I could have called Raul in IT, and he could have got us in here in 5 minutes.
Right. Okay. Well, that's my point. So that wasn't the first option. So somehow Simon Pegg just happened to have climbing gloves.
Oh, I know.
Like, because there's no other scenario you're going to need that, because you're not, I mean, outside of climbing a building, like, so like, and Simon Pegg was basically telling him, you can't do that. It's crazy. So why did he have those gloves with him?
Maybe he just like when you stay at a nice hotel and you want to steal some stuff, he was in that nice train car and he was like, oh, I'll be there in a second.
That's so, because there's no reason he should have those gloves.
I know. What else? Yeah.
But did you ever see like the YouTube video of Tom Cruise hanging out the real hotel? I mean, like, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like,
He's insane.
Literally is. I mean, he has to have a screw loose. Like, I get it. He's an adrenaline junkie, and a lot of people are. I don't think you could take the average person who enjoys jumping out of a plane and doing these crazy things that would ever hang out of that building, because when they show you the camera view of how high it is, it's insane.
Yeah. That building's insane. Just visually seeing that when they show that, I'm like, oh my God, how is that real?
I remember this when this came out. So that, because obviously it was a big thing. This was like the biggest stunt he's ever done before. And so he originally, and this is the power of Tom Cruise. He originally had a stuntman that he said, listen, I want to swing. I want to run on this building. It's the tallest building or whatever. The stunt guy goes, we can't do that. Tom Cruise fired him and hired a stunt guy that would be willing to do it. Like, I mean, like, think about it. Like, that's insane. Like, just recently, he just rode a motorcycle off a cliff and had a parachute. Did you see that?
Was that from the last one?
The last movie.
Yeah.
And like,
insane.
so when you watch the YouTube video of it, you could see like the whole crew like gasping and like quiet, like so nervous, because this is their $1 million star that's putting his life on the line every single time.
Yeah.
And like they look so nervous.
I really need this movie to work. I need the full paycheck. Don't die.
And Tom Cruise is like, listen, I made a lot of money in my time. If I die, I die, but I want to make these guys sweat every time. I mean, because he does. Like, in one movie, he's hanging out of an airplane, like as it's flying. Like, he is insane. He's right now making I think it's in production, or it's going to be in production. He's going to make the first movie in outer space. I think it's under his IMDb, literally, that it says it's going to be filmed in outer space. He's insane. He's insane.
Is it going to be like just floating and like a one room? Like they're going to be just talking in a cube? Or
you mean like that other horrible movie, Gravity? Because Gravity was awful. I mean, like, it didn't work with Gravity. So what makes you think it's going to work now?
It's Tom Cruise with a probably 20-something leading lady. They're stuck.
Oh, without a doubt. Like I said, he's only had good looking, like co-stars. So.
Oh my God. Dude.
Yeah.
So the big question my
Hold on.
wife had
So
when
here
we were
it is.
watching,
Tom Cruise and director Doug Liman travel far beyond Earth to film the first ever Hollywood motion picture in outer space. So it's a project he's going to do.
that's insane.
That's insane.
One comment my wife had when we were watching the next scene when Ethan has to start climbing on the building was, no one saw him. She said that. I'm like, not only did no one see him, so let's think we saw out of those windows, like before he cut it out, we could see out of it, but they were tinted a little bit, but nobody could hear him. None of this is being heard or reported.
This is a hotel, right? Is it a hotel or?
It seems like it's everything, like multi-purpose, like offices and everything. But yeah, but nobody sees him. Like looks out and just sees him.
100%. Or he's running across all the windows. Not one person was in the room at a time.
No, I know.
Maybe it's a new like construction floor, and like no one's up there yet. Like it's the new floor, so
one of those,
no one saw. Yeah, one of those.
Lines. Yeah,
it's
we'll
so
be
stupid.
the only two rooms, and I love that whole time. Simon Pegg, all he is using is a weird gadget that changes that changes the name on the door. He does two of those, and he's like whistling, like, "Wow, all in the day's work."
He has fake hands when he does this whole scene. How funny is that? You see a third hand coming out, like it's just so ridiculous.
No. Wait, he used a third hand twice? Or you're talking about that when he steals the diamonds?
Yeah, when he steals diamonds. Yeah.
We're not on that scene. Where are you right now?
I'm just saying he did that also later. But so I think this would have been funny. Again, they had already had a bunch of comedy there. They should have had like a family eating dinner and like a little kid see Tom Cruise running across the windows.
Yeah.
And like, Mom, there's a guy. He goes, come on, stop making up lies again.
Then they turn. Yeah, that would be good, dude.
And then
but nobody
turn
ran
around,
to
he's
the
not there
windows.
yet.
Nothing. Yeah. Oh my god, dude.
And how crazy was he that he jumped to the open window when he came back?
Oh, insane.
Like
he should be dead. He hit his head so hard. They're like, "We'll catch you." He hits, boom, boom, and
then he's hanging out there. He's hanging by. I mean, like, And I think in the YouTube video, he's literally hanging upside down out the window like that.
Insane.
When he insane. Like, I get it. I mean, you got to trust your team you work with, the stunt team, and everything else. But like, this has never been done before. This is like, things happen. I mean, mistakes do happen. You're really going to trust this? Like, I mean, like, oh my gosh, it's insane.
Yeah. And if they made two versions of this movie, one with that scene being CGI, one with it being real, it's going to make the same amount of money. But for him to do that,
100%. Well,
I almost see that new Tom Cruise movie. I don't know. The story seems crazy. He really jumped off a helicopter, and it's like, I'm going to go see it now.
Well, I almost feel like he makes these movies just so he can do these things.
Yeah.
Like, because he doesn't, and imagine being his stunt double. Even though Tom Cruise is doing the stunt, they also have that stand-in that has to practice doing the same things in each. And I know this because I'm in a few movies. If you didn't know, I'm in Happy Gilmore 2 coming up. And Poker Face. So they have stand-ins that do a lot of lines and everything else before the actual star comes in and does it. So imagine being that stunt double, like, it's great working with Tom Cruise, but these Mission Impossible movies, he's making me do these things that I don't want to do.
Yeah. One thing I didn't notice earlier in the movie, I don't know where I jotted it. I must have missed it before. Even when he's leaving the prison scene, that would be like historical, no matter what, big budget movie or a Seagal type movie that's been out in like the last 20 years. That'd be like a far away shot stunt double. He's in that whole scene. That whole sequence, you see his face, like banging on doors, the fight, everything is his face, which is
I think
really
again,
cool.
He honestly, he's like, if you want to talk like a man's man, like a real man, that's Tom Cruise. I mean, the guy's 5'8", yet he flies jet planes. He flew planes in Top Gun 2. He flew fighter planes. Like, how insane. He drives an Indy car. Motorcycles. I mean, they're literally like, he's got to be the toughest guy, like in general, like that. Like, there's no one else like that. I mean, Jackie Chan does his stunts and, but they're kind of like, and he's broken bones, but this is like to another level. Like, this is like his stuff is just I mean, again, he's flying a fighter plane. That alone is crazy. Like, I don't know, like, if you're a director and you're directing a Tom Cruise movie, like, you got to, first of all, I'm sure you take out a ton of insurance on them.
I know.
That's
and
you
why
have
they
to be nervous.
film in some of these countries. They probably wouldn't let him do stunts like that here.
Of course. And again, you have to be nervous every time.
Yeah.
Like, how do you really it must be difficult to direct a movie with Tom Cruise at the same time not being nervous as you're directing. So like, it's just got to be like challenging. It's got to be so challenging.
All right, Tom, here's what I want you to do when you dangle from this building, okay? Don't die, okay? Action. But no, it is.
Or Tom Cruise is like I said, I only want you dangling a little. Like, I don't want you all the way out there. Of course, Tom goes to the guy, make sure you drop me a little lower.
Fully dangle, please. I want to make everyone sweat here. I want to vomit. I want the barf bags out today.
I really think that's part of what he does. I think he just, again, he's adrenaline, but I also think he wants to make everybody on the edge of the seat on the set. Like, they have to. I'm telling you, watch the video of him with the motorcycle, and you got to see. It's insane. It's insane. Oh, man.
So now, the masks don't work. So another one of those gadgets doesn't work because they were going to make these perfect masks, which is cool when we saw them like sort of getting made, like a 3D scan.
Yeah.
But that goes out the window. So now they're just going to pretend. They do the old switcheroo. One thing I did love was Paula Patton's character, her being the hitman that has the nuclear codes. She is just repeating the villain's lines. I really thought that was awesome.
No, I thought that whole scene was very creative writing, because it was, again, they were just mirroring each other. And the way they did it, I think it was great. And again, having Simon Pegg walk into each room, switch the things around, had the fake hand coming out. Like, it was just
when you saw the hand, that was great.
Yeah. But also, like, the blonde, the assassin, like, she was onto it, and which was, I think, like, she was great. I think she has a good look to her. Like, she was cool, like, and she was definitely like onto what's going on, and like you're just waiting for that bomb to drop. Like,
well, they got somebody that never used the eyeball scanner printer too much, which was insane. That he was able to do all that perfectly, and then she noticed after that. Like, he was able to get that off, and then she was like, "Oh, kill him."
See, it would have been okay. So I think it would have been funny, and again, because nothing worked in this movie, which they don't explain why nothing works. Like, I mean, like,
they don't.
I think everything there should have been like almost like you at one point you hear like, like a camera every time he closes his eyes, something like, or just like you hear like the printer going in his eye or something. I don't know, like something like, like funny, like
paper jam,
showing that didn't work.
Check toner.
Out of ink,
briefcase talk right now. My briefcase is talking. 0, 0, 0, 0. That was the code for the briefcase.
And how fast did they read that document? The real guy. Like,
I know.
That was like that was a 5-page document. I mean, when I see like a contract or like even a lease from a dealership or something like that, it takes a while to read through it. This is like 5 pages, and he's looking. Oh yeah, it looks good. There's no fine writing in there that you didn't miss. Like, you looked at it for 2 minutes and you were figuring out that everything looks good.
Yeah. Now on the other end, in the other room, you have the guy that is in actuality the guy in the mask there. So maybe he is an expert, but he's reading the nuclear thing. He shows it to the other guy, and the guy really quickly goes, "That's right." And it's like,
that's what I meant. That's
yeah. Oh, I think you mean the way Jeremy Renner was reading
no.
He was scanning it. It was like really like robotic.
Yeah, but but it did look like he was looking at it way longer than the other guy. Like, because he was waiting for it to scan. Where the other guy, literally, I mean, the real guy that's reading it, he looked at it for 2 seconds. It's like 5 pages long. He's like, yeah, it looks pretty good. And the fact that they have a printer inside the briefcase,
that was crazy. How?
That's, I mean, ridiculous. Like, it just
where's the paper? Where's the paper loaded? Like, hidden perfectly in it.
There's no noise at all when it's coming out.
I know. Yeah. Like the like, it's 2011. I get it, but they were still not that great. They're still not great. Yeah. They're the worst. Printers are the worst. $50 and it breaks, and it's not worth fixing. So you have to buy a new one. Oh man! But dude, the next scene, the diamonds. The way it's like, oh, where's my payment of the diamonds? He steals them perfectly. No, not steals them. He gets them. Is able to deliver them. But dude, the line that the bad guy has when he says to him when I just want to be with my family. Can I go home? Can I see them? And he says, you'll be with them. Yes, you'll be with them shortly. And he kills them.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh, dude. So they were already dead. Like,
of course,
that is twisted.
Well, but you know what though? Again, in a lot of these movies, when they do something like that, like you think that this guy's gonna let you go anytime you're getting kidnapped, to do something. They're never going to let you go because you already saw their face. Like people still do what they're. To me, listen. If you're going to kill me, I'd rather not do what you're asking me and just kill me there.
Yeah.
I know
you wouldn't want to do everything,
and
then like, all right, see you later. It was nice meeting you. It's like I'm going to kill you. There.
Yeah, I mean, again, you saw my face. Like yeah. Okay, all right.
But then we get the chick fight, which was badass, dude.
Yeah,
because how bad was that? She gets her, and they have like their. She comes in the room. She's able to subdue her with the gun. For some dumb reason, Simon Pegg. You're gonna trust him, and oh my god, dude, ridiculous.
Well, you didn't have a choice, but I mean, yeah, I mean, you knew this was bound to happen. So, but yeah, it was a great.
But why'd she have to leave him in the room? She was getting something from the bedroom, like something in a purse, right? Was it a phone or
no? That was before. That was before the fight.
No,
she was in there.
Yeah, no, that was yeah. There was like two sections of the fight. There was the longer part of the fight, and then when she finally subdues her and has the gun.
No, I think when she went to her bag before the actual fight, I think that's because she tried to subdue Simon Pegg, and that's when she ran out.
So they didn't fight at all yet? Okay.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I was wrong with the other thing, so I could be wrong here. But I
forgot if there was like a little fight before that got her to, because she busted in the room to save Ethan. And
correct. That's why she. That's why. Correct.
Okay.
And that's why Simon. Yeah. That's why Simon was holding so she could save.
But Ethan. She had to get something from her bedroom. It was so stupid. And then she comes back in. All we hear is the we hear like the struggle.
Yeah.
And but their fight was pretty good, dude.
Yeah. I like how she took her shoes off too when she went running after Ethan. Like she.
Yeah.
What? So they were on a different floor. Were they on a different floor? Like, was Simon Pegg going back and forth on different, like, how was he getting there so fast?
No, I think it was on the same floor. They just moved the room numbers. I forgot how they did it.
Okay.
Well, I just saw how they did it. I don't know if it actually would make sense, like in sequential, but they moved like the 1 to be 108. Yeah.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Dude, yeah, she was badass. And cool way to end the scene.
Oh,
like the kick out of the window, dude.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was very cool.
Because using that again, we already had as the audience the fear of the height from the Tom Cruise scene, and just to think about like, oh my god, dude, that body is just floating to its death right now.
That's awesome. Like, yeah. No, that was, like I said, and I don't like heights, and every time the camera just shows you how high it is, like, that's insane.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then now this is when he's leaving, right? Because he has the codes. Now they have to go after him. And dude, when he goes, the sandstorm thing was insane. If that, obviously it's a real thing. That's insane. How could you live there? I would die.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a challenge to live there, but I don't think you can run through a sandstorm like that. I think your face would be ripped off by the sand or something.
There should be, I'm sure there's a law for everyone. If it's a sandstorm, just like here, if you get caught in a snowdrift, that's bad.
Oh, of
You're
course.
Supposed to like slow up until you get to a complete stop.
This is India, right? Or is this India at this point?
Yeah.
Or is this
no,
Dubai still. Dubai. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what kind of law that is. I mean, I don't think they really care anyone running in there. But like, was he wearing glasses? No, he wasn't wearing glasses, right?
No, he just put something to cover his mouth,
right, on his face. Okay, so I go to the beach.
You know who's not driving in this movie? Females. I don't think females can drive in Saudi Arabia. I'm pretty sure that is his thing. Maybe that's why, because all the men were still driving. Man, I'm not gonna get home.
But again, you go to the beach. I get sand in my eyes, mouth, ears, just by laying there. He's running through the sandstorm. It's not going to be like getting into his eyes like that. Like,
dude.
Like, I don't think you could, like, I don't think anyone can literally go through a sandstorm without, like, again, wearing glasses, like some kind of protection. I don't think
you go to the beach. Just think about the sand that gets inside of all your.
That's what I'm saying.
Beach.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, and this sandstorm was so thick that you can't see in front of you. There's no way anyone, you're eating that sand. I mean, if you're running there, it's going everywhere. Like I said, it's going, you can't see, it's going in your eyes. You know,
You'd
like
be choking.
I think it'd be ripping your face off. I think the sand would be like ripping as it's hitting you. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't think you can go through it. So let alone drive a distance. Like he was driving for a while. You can't see anything. You're not going to hit any buildings, tents, tree, cactuses. You're in the desert. Yeah. He was able to somehow navigate. And then he was able to find him.
Gets on top of the car. And, oh my gosh, dude, that was almost getting decapitated.
So, yeah. Oh, but what did he have? Where was the tracker? Was it in the briefcase? No, he didn't even have the briefcase.
It was in the briefcase. Yeah. He had the briefcase. The bad guy had the nuclear briefcase.
Yeah. So how did Tom Cruise have a tracker?
What do you mean? He has the GPS that they had on the briefcase. That was Paul Patton's briefcase.
Oh, okay. That was okay. Oh, that was the wrong briefcase he grabbed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But wasn't that crazy? Like that whole scene, like when it's all he can see is that tracker and where it is, and he's trying to guess where the car is in the storm. Yeah, that was pretty nuts. That was a pretty wild scene. The crash was insane. But the guy's not in the car. And how about this is what makes no sense how he got away. So the mask comes off. He sees the mask on the ground, right? And then
doesn't the guy peel it off? I thought the guy peeled it off.
Oh yeah, he did peel it off. And then even at that point, I'm like, who is this guy? Oh, because that's when he was already getting ready to leave, right? When he was.
That's why I said it looks like a different person. Like I don't think that was the old guy.
It's definitely the guy from the beginning. It would make no sense. Why would they have a random guy?
You're telling me that's the guy at the end?
That's the guy at the end. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. I'm a question. I have to look it up.
Sense.
It didn't look like him though.
New actor that we wouldn't know.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was someone. I didn't even. Well, first of all, there's no way this old guy. He was older than Tom Cruise. That he's able to like maneuver and run around as physical as he was. Like
he wasn't running that good. Tom Cruise caught up pretty good.
He was running for a while. Tom Cruise was chasing him for how long?
For a little bit, but then he was. And then the thing that was silly was when he was on the back of the pickup truck or whatever that was.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise just looking at him when he takes the mask off, and I'm like, "You're not gonna run after him." He's right there, and it was slowly driving away, and he just so happened to climb on the one truck that's getting ready to go 65 miles an hour. Like it's going slow until he takes the mask off.
Of course,
and it bolts off.
Of course. Yeah, but maybe that was his getaway car. He just happened to find it.
Yeah, I wrote down. Yeah, I go a truck just so happens to slow up, then pick up speed. When we find it has the bad guy from Act 1, and I go, which actually makes sense. Like that is that guy, but it's just like, who else would it have been?
But the fact that we even have to question it just tells you how bad the villain is. Like, again, he didn't stand out. Like it really should have been like just someone again, like you're like, I don't know, someone crazier. Like, like I feel like he didn't even have a crazy vibe to him. He seemed he seemed more like a businessman than like a crazy villain. Like it should have been someone like
blow up the world. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he just seemed like a regular, like there was no crazy to him. And that's even at the chase at the end, he didn't seem that crazy. Like it was just, what he does is crazy, but it didn't seem like that crazy, So yeah, I just feel like the villain should have been a little bit more like nutty. So
yeah, he should have been nutty, but this is where we find out that Renner's kind of nutty with his that he's a certified badass because this scene was insane. And then it was awesome. Ethan like calls him out, man. He calls him out like, "You're not an analyst.
Yeah.
An analyst doesn't know how to do that." And then he kind of spills half of his story, not the full story.
I felt like when Renner started doing like the fighting, he looked way better doing it than Tom Cruise.
Wow.
Again, because he's younger, maybe, and that's, and he's also bigger. So I think it just comes across better. But, it's funny at this point when he's telling his story. Well, no, Tom Cruise left already, and he tells Paula Patton and Simon Pegg, right? I wrote down this story is so full of crap. Like because at this point I'm like, he's definitely the villain. I thought he was undercover or something like that. 100%. Like because it would make 9 out of 10 times in a movie he's going to be the bad guy. Like in a movie like this, because it just his story sounded so ridiculous about his wife and all that. I'm like, there's no way this is real. Because again, the story about his wife, it just, like we said before, it feels like it was thrown in. Like it didn't have to be that connection. So I was thinking this whole thing was fake. I'm like,
and again, what was his thing? A bad security guard. He was doing bad security. He left his operative wide open, and then they got murdered. But or did that? Is she in the other movies? Do we see? So we don't see this scene, right?
Well, she's
Michelle Monaghan, because at this point she is sort of getting big. She did the movie Eagle Eye, which is actually a pretty good movie.
She was in something else. She wasn't she with Keanu Reeves? No, she was in another.
One of her first bigger movies was The Heartbreak Kid with Ben Stiller, the comedy. That was like 04, 05. That was like her
but there was something else. No, there was something else. She was in something else, but I would think she was in the previous movie just because it'd be weird if she wasn't, because who knew he was even married? Right?
That's what I mean. Do you think they had her in the previous movie and then we didn't know she died?
I'm gonna say yes, because she's too big of an actress to have in a small little scene without saying anything.
Yeah.
Which, and not for nothing. I mean, since we're already talking about it, the fact that she's supposed to be in hiding, but she's 15 feet away from him.
Well, no, she's dead, so she has a new character. So she's not.
But they're in the same area. He was watching her the whole time.
Well, he can see her. It's just
she saw him too.
No, but I'm saying he shouldn't be looking at her.
Okay.
Because a bad guy can be around and then see why is he in Seattle?
But that's my point. If you're pretending that she's dead because you're trying to keep her safe, why even be in the same area as her? Wouldn't you put her across in a different country, a different part of the world? Why 10 feet from you? That's in hiding.
Like it seemed like she was dating that guy, and then the scene before, or a few scenes before, he's making out with Paula Patton.
But he shouldn't even know where she is. If you're trying to protect her, he shouldn't even know where she is. And it looks like they know exactly where for what reason?
To just peep on her when she's going to the coffee shop. And just to be like, hello.
Yeah, because it's not obvious that they're you're looking directly across the way, and anyone who's following Ethan, they're not who is he looking at? Hey,
I thought she was dead. Yeah, let's make her dead. Yeah. Yeah. The people that are with Michelle Monaghan's like, hey, who's that guy hiding behind the pole over there?
So ridiculous.
Dude. But no. So the next scene is when he meets that contact guy, which is basically because to be honest, I don't remember if there were subtitles. He is trying to get some. At first, you think he's reaching out for him. To get a plane or the weapons. He's an arms
there
dealer,
were there were no subtitles in this part. But he seemed like a guy that would be living in a basement doing technology.
Oh, I know, and he had a terrible accent. Right. So what you're saying?
Correct.
Is...
Right.
Yeah.
But the subtitles came after Ethan left. He called the bad guy, he called the cop.
He called the cop and let him out. Yeah.
Called the cop. Now that's what I don't know what he said. So I don't know what
Well, that was the whole setup. He wanted him to call. He knew he would call the cop, so he knew that arms dealer was crooked.
Ethan knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why would the arms dealer want to get Ethan in trouble?
Oh, he's probably a narc. He's probably able to.
But they don't
gives
explain
information every so often. Yeah. And
you're guessing that.
Well, that's what it is. Why else would he do it?
I don't know. I'm asking, but that seems too obvious. That's the reason. Because
his first line to the cop later in the movie said, because he's like, "How did you know?" And he goes, "I knew that as soon as I talked to him, he would reach out to you." So somehow he knew there was a connection, or the cop's dirty. That's the only.
But they don't explain it. They don't explain it.
No, they don't.
So that's
a lot
ridiculous.
of it. That's what I mean. There's a lot of these they don't put a bow on a lot of these storylines.
No, they don't put any bow. I mean, really, okay.
Just like the fuse in the beginning of the movie. It didn't blow anything up. Just like a lot of these stories,
blow up the names, blow up the something like the credits. That's it. That would have been fine.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude! So now Ethan. Oh yeah.
Party. Is this the party part?
Yeah. So I guess that is the next thing, right? So yeah. So they're gonna go to. Oh, dude, the temple. How about when they pull up to the temple? And I was just thinking about the anxiety, when I go to a hotel, when you have to go to those nice hotels, they have like the bus boys and everybody. You have not bus boys, but bellhops, valet. You have to tip everyone. Dude, there was like 7,000 bellhops outside of the castle.
Wait a second. Wait, you go to fancy hotels a lot?
Yeah, when we go on vacation, we spend more money on that.
Fancy guy. Okay,
The Fontainebleau in Miami.
I didn't see you going to the 5-star hotels.
With my kids, it's got to be like that. Because to be honest, going across the country 2 times, 4 times total, Motel 6. Because they don't charge for dogs. And it was $55. And I had a discount because I did disc golf. I was part of a disc golf club. And they would give you like 10% off. Like, 2-time champion nerd.
I once chinced out on a hotel when my daughter was competing in dance, and the competition was in Wildwood, and like the whole team was staying at this like one hotel that was double the price. I'm like, I'm not, we could hang out there, but what's the point? So I found this place. It was, when I tell you, the door itself was like one of those screen doors, like oh my gosh, like my daughter and I were like cringing in this room. Like I'm like, never again. Like it's it's the extra $100 or whatever you're gonna spend is worth it. I can never do it. It really is. But like we literally felt like there might have been a murder in the room at some point. It reminded me of Psycho. What's his name? Franz.
Norman Bates?
Dennis
Franz.
Oh yeah,
Dennis Franz. Did he work the front desk?
We stayed there.
Yes. The Franz special. Oh my god. but so this guy that we see is like this hot shot that they're trying to Paula Patton's like flirting with.
But I couldn't get past the hair. The Elvis hair or whatever he had, like it would look. He just looks. And again, okay, so this is, I guess, a pretty high up guy. This is a castle that he's basically living in, and there's no security at all. Like,
I know.
And the fact that he should have had armed guards following him. Like, he didn't see through the fact that this girl is like squeezing his hand hard, that like he had to shake. Like,
he loved that. He wanted to get spanked. That's why later when she was beating him up,
I know.
He was sort of into it until she changed her tone of voice.
That was, and enough for nothing. He gave up the information really quick. Yeah. This could have been the first time someone's trying to go after him, for information. And like, he just seemed like he's such a nonchalant, like he almost looks like a man child the way he was. Like he was,
but he was funny, dude. That guy,
he was funny. He was
Hall
funny.
Of Fame. For the fact that he has the tray of phones, like not the fact that his servant could have brought one phone. There was like 5 of them. Yeah, and she had to pick up the one that was ringing.
They made him have money that had its own money. Like, it was just like they made him just so ridiculous, and so over the top. But the fact that she was able
in 20 minutes, I want everyone to have the same, whatever the drink was, in their hand. And I'm like, that's insane.
How many people are there? Yeah, no.
And he thought that would work with her. She was not turned on. No cleanup in aisle 7. She actually gave him like a dirty look.
Look what he looks like.
He was trying to be I know.
He was trying to be like all sexy and everything, but like, look at him, but again, no concern with anyone. Like, doesn't he have bodyguards around, seeing like, all right, here's a strange American woman, following, our guy. Like, let's just, make sure that he's nothing. There was nothing even close to protecting this guy.
How about when he says the line on the phone, "You're gonna have to find me." So he's like a child. You're right, man child.
I said he's a man child.
He wants to do hide and go seek with this hottie. And dude, when she's beating the crap out of him, like he gives the one guy the nod to leave the room, and they're walking like in the yard, and where's your bedroom? And he's like, this is gonna happen. And she just starts smacking him up and roughing him up. And you're right. Boom, in seconds he gives up the information.
Seconds. Like, you would think, a lot of times, like, these bad guys, if someone gets like, they put up a little bit more of a, like, I'm not telling you anything. Like, he didn't even try, like, I'm not telling you anything. He didn't say that once.
Yeah.
Like, he literally said, okay, take, whatever you got. Like, he didn't even, like, I wouldn't trust him with anything.
I'm trying to think. He was getting it they were trying to get a code for what? I'm trying to think. I'm forgetting what the code was.
For the nuclear, was it for the nuclear device? No.
No, it was it wasn't for the satellite, but this is the next scene right after it. So maybe it is at the same. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. So they needed to stop the launch in the satellite.
Yeah.
And this is the same time. This is at the same time when he's in the right at the same time. All this is happening, right?
All this is happening.
Isn't he in the magnetic suit? All of this is happening in the same place.
This is all at the same time because that's when he go. But he's also right next because I guess the car garage is part of the party. Like, is that where all the cars are parked?
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this scene.
Which, by the way, is the most ridiculous car garage I've ever seen in my life. It was as tall as a building.
Oh yeah.
There's no way that's real, So
yeah, all this happened at the same time. It's very confusing. The Jeremy Renner.
Wait. No, because he's driving the car to get there. Remember, he's not. No, this is something happens after because Tom Cruise jumps in the car because they're all separated, right, in different spots.
Yeah.
So no, because I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know because everything. It seemed like right after the party, everything just happens all at once.
Yeah, but no, because I wrote down now. Yeah, Benji's crashing the car to get him out
because she goes in the car and undresses in the car.
Yes,
sitting next to him.
Yeah.
So they do leave the party. Oh yeah.
And Renner's trying to get out at the same time. The magnetic thing is crashing, and it's getting hot in there. Yeah. So this is when they find out they have to, in order to launch it, the satellite. So they have to go down to the TV station because he was like doing some like override. Oh yeah, he was doing the override in the computer to try to shut down that satellite.
But he couldn't though. He couldn't though, right?
That's
when Tom Cruise is flooring it. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, when they get to this TV station, oh my god, dude, the old like one person working at the station, he walks in, pew, shoots him right in the chest.
Right away. Yeah. Okay.
But we're getting what? What do bad guys do? They don't do 5 seconds, maybe like 10. No, 3-minute countdown is what it is. Like a 3-minute countdown.
That's not a lot of time to get out of there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what if you tripped and like you sprained your ankle on the way out? Like, you got to get, I would think.
Well, Love in Space, we saw it. He did a 15-minute countdown. They weren't even close to leaving.
No. But I would say, if you're going to set a bomb off and you're going to have a countdown, 15 minutes should be like the minimum, like 20 to 15 minutes. Like, why can't you do an hour? Who cares? Like, no one else has the code, apparently. Like, you can't, like, I just think, like, the short time is definitely never enough. It never works out.
No, never works out, guys. How about when he calls? How about that? Wouldn't that be a red flag in the training manual of being somebody that one of the two people that turned their keys for the missile? Wouldn't it be a red flag? It's like, okay, we're giving the signal. Here's the code. And it's like, okay, but now you're going to turn off all your communication and go dark. Oh, okay. So like no one else, you're stuck doing this. Like you would think that is something that happens. I know there could be situations in war that has to happen that quick, but I don't know if it'd be that quick. Wouldn't they be like, hey, Johnson, we're thinking about it. Just be ready. Practice your key turn, eye contact with your partner. There had to be something, but this was like, oh shit, we're doing this.
So how many spare people do you think like have that going on? Like, because if Johnson's not there, like, do they have like a couple backups?
Oh, do they have a backup key turner? I don't know.
Oh, or a couple. Because you don't want the guy, like, you definitely don't want like someone that's never done it before. And it's like, like a sub on in basketball. Like, all right, fine. We got, we lost our 2 starters. We got to throw you in there for the first game. You're going to be nervous. So if you've never done the key turn before, and you're like, this is the first time you're doing it, like,
shaking.
Is it on 3? Is it like 3 and then go? Like one of those things. Like, do I turn it all the way or do I, like,
oh my God, dude. And then all this, and now this is when Ethan is able to. So Ethan's in pursuit of this guy at this point.
He's chasing him,
right?
Right. Well, he's chasing him. Which again, Ethan looks like he's in way better shape. He should have been able to catch him much faster than this.
I know.
And this, I mean, again, he should not have had trouble with this guy at all. I mean, this is not only that Tom Cruise is in good shape. He's like the ultimate weapon, right? For what he does. He was struggling with this guy. Like, I mean, it should have been a quick fight. Like, it should have been, nothing at all. But this whole garage. I mean, it was a cool fight and what was going on. They both should have died multiple times.
Yeah.
Falling once, you're breaking your back. Because it's not like you're landing on anything soft. You're landing on metal, on top of metal, all around. Like you're gonna crack your head open. You're gonna it's not gonna be good. And how high is it with all these elevators going? Like, do they really have a garage like this? Because it looks so futuristic. It looks so ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
there was just
why were there so many cars moving around?
Too.
Why were there so many cars?
Right? Yeah.
Like, were there workers there? Like, because there wasn't one worker on any level, and cars are just moving around. Like, it just like, why?
Oh my God, dude. But just the fact that I did not know missiles work like this. That it turns from being a missile, like basically like a nipple goes over it, like some kind of cover, so it won't explode on contact, because it just hits the building and just goes into the water, and you get like a bloop. And then that's crazy, right? That can't be real.
It's crazy, but you know what? You bring up something that I think would be very beneficial. I think they should have something that looks like a nipple that goes over missiles, because then people where the missiles are going are going to be staring at the nipple, wondering what it is, and be mesmerized by it and not realize, not trying to run away.
That is true. Honey, there's a bomb coming. I don't know, hon. I gotta go check it out. I've never seen one that big. And he's just like running. But no, it was just, I would not think why, if you're Russia or anyone with nuclear weapons, why would you have that failsafe at the end that it turns into a stick? Like, that's pretty much what it does, because it doesn't explode. It just kerplunks into the water. And dude, that whole thing's crazy too. Like, it made me think in my head, like, has that ever happened? That we did have that, and they just said, "Oh, it's a meteor." That's all it was, a daytime meteor. Then
you have to think, out of all these years, something like that has had to happen. And they played it off.
Real that a missile can go off that can basically destroy a whole country, in a sense, and ruin everything. But if you hit one button, it doesn't go off.
Well, think about it this way. What if you launch one by accident?
I know. Or
you have like
two guys turn their keys, double key turner?
Because Johnson wasn't there that day and they had to sub in. So, I mean, what if you had the wrong coordinates by accident? And then, so you need a failsafe. Like, all right, you meant 13B on Edgewood Lane, not 12B. Oh my God, something like that. And then, they went to the wrong, so. Yeah.
Yeah, and that whole end sequence, like, again, like it was almost like the WWF like tag team matches.
Oh my gosh.
Where a guy's just gonna get out when Renner's fighting that guy, and Pegg kills, the guy just in time. So then he's able to put the power back on. Because then that's how Ethan's able to save the day. Because remember, he's like turning it off, off, and then finally it stops. Yeah.
And then, I mean, the fight again shouldn't have been this hard for him, but like it was a cool fight sequence because it was very parkourish. Like it was almost like a Jackie Chan fight. You didn't see Ethan, and then he's under the car and he kicks the thing here, and then the briefcase goes this way, and they're jumping this way, and like it was very organized, like the fight, like it was so choreographed so much. But yeah, it was I mean, it was cool, but just the whole place where it just, to me, it kind of ruined it. Like it was a cool fight, but like at the same time, it's like it was too futuristic looking. Like,
yeah, and if it was more of a worthy opponent, like we talked about, like
a worthy opponent, and like I don't think it needed. Better. I don't think it should have been like some at a factory or something. Where okay, fine, you have elevators and things going up. I can believe that. Not cars that are on this again. Yeah. How tall that thing was? So tall. Like, I mean, they're gonna have tall things like that? Like, yeah, I don't know.
And we get, so that's the end of the movie, and then Ethan talks to the cop for a little bit.
He jumps first, the guy with the briefcase.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was the way he jumped. Like he just gave like a swan dive. Like which see, like what was the point of that? Like he obviously didn't want Ethan to have the briefcase, but like okay, you jump off, so Ethan gets down and he picks up the briefcase.
Yeah, you're dead.
Like it wasn't like you're blowing up the briefcase. You literally just like jumped off, killed yourself, and had the briefcase laying next to you. Like it wasn't destroying the briefcase. And you're going to tell me he's going to survive that? His plan was to take the car and fall into the ground. That was the plan. Like, you're not surviving that. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. And you said, yeah, he was talking to the cop. The cop was talking to him, and he didn't have to say 2 words. He just nodded his head.
Yeah. He just let him know, like, oh, you knew I would call you knew he would call me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so ridiculous.
We have Ving Rhames. I remember Ving Rhames in the original one.
He's
so
in
I'm
a bunch of
guessing
them.
Yeah.
He's in, I think he's in later ones too.
Yeah. I'm just saying, just this cameo, you knew it was something.
Yep.
You knew it was a character that was
Oh, yeah.
already in the movies. But I love the middle finger pocket move. That was pretty good. That was a good one. For him to leave too, gives him middle finger. And then that's where we find out, oh, will you guys join the team again? And they, Pegg takes a phone, which he's in later movies. Patton takes the phone. She's not in the movies after this. And then Renner, like, it explains the whole story, like, hey, I was your agent. And then I wrote, dude, could you imagine again, like, the scenario, like, did Ethan's wife know that he was who he was? Or did that happen all in one night? Hey, we have to pretend for you to die. We're going to find a cadaver to use as your thing. And, oh, yeah, the guys that were guarding you, they're going to think that they did a terrible job that day and you died.
And you got to live with that. He lives with that his whole life. Like, whatever. Like, that's awful to think that that's awful. So, yeah.
You made somebody feel like they murdered someone. They lost their job.
Yeah. Ridiculous. So
sorry, man. I had to protect my wife. I know your life sucks now. You live in a studio apartment. Your wife left you. I'm sorry, man.
Amazing. It's ridiculous. I'm surprised Paula Patton wasn't in the other one. I wonder, like, if they mention her character or anything, because she was so good in this one. So I wonder why she wasn't in another one.
She was really good, which was like not like it was shocking.
Well, you know why? Because he needed another love interest.
Oh, that's true. He had to trade up or something.
Yeah. So
she was in Deja Vu. I was reading about her because I was like, man, I wonder. That was like her first big movie. That was
a good movie too.
Denzel. Yeah, but I'm like, wow, that's a big movie. And then she's in this a few years later, so it's kind of shocking. Maybe she just didn't want to act or do anything like that. But yeah. So then we already mentioned him creeping on his wife. His wife, I guess. But I guess they're sort of still married. And then he puts in his earbuds, puts his hood up, and then he walks into like the fog and he disappears. End scene. So that's the end of
He's a ghost.
Mission
He's a ghost.
He's the ghost protocol. Yeah.
See?
So Jamie, I think I know your answer, which is very rare for 2025, but would you recommend someone check this movie out?
Oh, absolutely. It's I again, for a series that has, I mean, I don't know how many movies in the series now. Because even like, I know a lot of people don't like 2.
I think 8.
I think all 8 of them, obviously some are better than others. I think all 8 of them are entertaining. I don't remember a lot of them. And actually, after watching this, I just added the first one. I'm gonna go through all of them again because they are entertaining and they are. I even like 2, and I know a lot of people don't like 2. I'd like to. Now I haven't seen it in a long time, so I'm gonna see it again. But yeah, absolutely. Even if you've never seen any of them, it's an entertaining enough that it has a lot to enjoy. Like I said, to me, the biggest issue is the villain. It's a weak villain. For a franchise like this. I also, you know what? I would like to see a little bit more fighting, with Paula Patton and Jeremy Renner. I want to see them do a little bit more in a movie. But yeah, I think it's totally worth watching. And if you're going to watch it, you might as well watch all of them because they're all entertaining.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's not that I started this whole thing off not saying that I didn't like the movie. It was just, I think I wanted so much more. I thought it was a good movie, but I was really thinking like this is going to be like an epic story and everything. And it's just some, like we talked about, so many like loose ends, like these stories that started, or, we're going to dangle this carrot. Oh, that carrot. Oh, that's actually a T-bone steak. Like these, like trying to like pull the wool over your eyes so much in the movie. But it was fun. I really enjoyed it. Again, I just wanted more action, I think. And there was a lot. It's just like, I felt like there should be so much more.
Well, again, it's a over 2 hours, so
I know.
they could have cut it down. And I agree. There were a couple of like slower parts that, not that it was slow, but like it was unnecessary. And I think, if they had a little bit more action, I don't remember the other ones. I don't know if they have as much action in the movies. But and again, I think again for Tom Cruise and for a franchise that has 8 movies and they're all entertaining, it's rare. And so I think yeah. So I think they know. I'd be curious to watch them all and then rank them, and see where they're all at.
I don't see them being a bad one. Nowadays, like sequels that come up for the most part, they're at least entertaining. Like the ones that you don't get, like the in name only sequels, like in the 80s and 90s. Like there actually is some thought behind them, and they're like, all right, let's. But no, I should watch more of them. But maybe there's one with better villains.
Yeah, but again, eight have, I'm sure they were all very entertaining. Like again, you take Rocky for example, right? Take the first 5. Obviously the first 2 are really good. I used to love the third one, but as you watch it, third one's a little silly, and then you got 4, and then 5 is awful. So to have consecutive good movies, I think for a franchise, I think it's done very well. And I think, like they have enough story. It's like James Bond, right? I mean, like for the most part, James Bond, I mean, they're all entertaining, I mean, obviously some are better than others. But especially with Daniel Craig, I mean, like his movies are great. So,
yeah. So that's, so we go from an action movie, a movie that Jamie really enjoyed, to a movie that maybe he'll enjoy. But it's Creatures. We were just talking about it in Left in Space. I feel like another one. We were talking Critters, Ghoulies, all of them, even Munchies. But next, we're going to be covering Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama 2. Wow, what a mouthful. A sequel to a 1988 flick starring Linnea Quigley, who doesn't love her? Man, what a smoke show. So yeah, so this would be a lot of fun. And for it, I talked to the writer of the movie. There's a lot of Full Moon fans that know him as Ken Roudebush, or which he tells me this is the first time he's actually talking about this like publicly with people, but his real name is Shane Bitterling. Our buddy Audio Andy, who did a lot of Full Moon stuff, connected us, and his story is so much fun. Audio Andy goes, hey, I don't know if he's going to give you his real name. He just gave me the number, but when I called him and I left a voicemail, it showed up on my Apple phone, his real name. So the Ken Roudebush didn't last too long with me, but it was fun to talk about his journey from the Midwest, thinking, hey, maybe I'll do novels. What am I going to do? To like, we talked about, he wrote some movies that got picked up. He got paid good money, but they just never got made with big directors attached and stuff. But he was churning out these Full Moon movies, and he connected with the guy who was the original writer of the Puppet Master movies, became good buddies. So he wrote in that same vein for all these years from Full Moon. But yeah, lots of fun. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to share our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.